bit less top end, so we can use more of our motor's engine and power band. Okay, hi, this is Rob Bender. I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about my Hyper 9 and help and answer any questions that we can come up with. My Hyper 9 right now, the setup is strictly for the Revelation Raceway, which is the track I've been having a lot of success with that lately. And of course, success makes it much more fun.
This is the continuation of the show one we just did.
Okay, and this is going to be a continuation of what I was just talking about a little bit ago. So some of it I might be repeating myself, and hopefully it's more helpful than boring. My Hyper 9 has been built up as a 7-pound car. I've done everything I can to take all excess weight out of the car, and it makes the car very, very light, very, very quick, and allows me to use the smaller shocks with the lighter weight springs. I do prefer the Nova Rossi power band, so of course I'm running the Nova Rossi. And for Revelation Raceway, the setup has to be semi-aggressive, but not too aggressive. The dirt there can be somewhat cumbersome at times, and you have to make sure and keep a medium to mild setup. Charbonneau, on your Hyper ST to use extensions. Yes, well, we do want to talk to you as much as possible about the Hyper 9, but of course I have a lot of experience on the Hyper ST as well. The Hyper XT, that on my setup, I run a narrower setup. I run the 4mm hub extenders on the rear of my car and the 6mm hub extenders on the front using the zero offset Proline 37 series rims with the Panther Gator tires. That's a combination that for my car and my setup really seems to be the best. On the Hyper ST, I am running the Jammin 16mm shocks, and they do seem to work the best on that. The reason I don't like the Jammin wheels is they square out the wheel track and the wheel width, and that makes the back end of the car not track so well. So I like a little bit narrower setup to allow the car to track better and still have its incredible cornering capabilities. So I hope that helps you out. Thank you for the question. Again, going back to the Hyper ST, it is one of the components that I use on my car are their hub extenders because of the capture or the set screw style drive pin. So that is a Hyper ST option part that I actually do use on my Hyper 9 to eliminate the set screw out of the drive axle, which with this setup is just dead weight. So again, thank you for the questions, and if anybody else has any questions, please feel free to pop on in and ask some questions. Again, my name is Rob Bender. I've been racing here in Southern California for about 4.5, 5 years now, strictly for OFNA. I'm very, very honored to be asked to be a participant in this and to be able to help you guys out with any questions that you might have. My Hyper 9 I've been having, again, a ton of success with lately, so that always makes things a lot more fun to get those RC monkeys off your back. And thanks to Jeremy Courts for the nickname One Lap. We always appreciate that, but now instead of being one lap, it's one lap on the field, and that's always fun. Hyper 9 has a lot of advantages, in my opinion, over a lot of the other cars, and its cornering ability is controllable but aggressive. Again, its corner-to-corner speed is so quick that it requires so much less throttle input to get you around the track. Absolutely perfect example of that with this exact same motor setup in my Hyper 8.5. Even with as light as I had my Hyper 8.5 built to, I'm over a minute and a half longer on a fuel tank with this car. Again, that lightweight driveline attributes to that and allows you to use less throttle, makes the car easier to drive, and still gives you the acceleration you need without being too light. Jeremy Courts has taught me a lot of tricks about the car, and of course, anytime you learn from that guy, you take advantage and you follow suit. In the near future, I have heard that there's going to be a little bit longer chassis, again, to help with some more forward weight on the car. And of course, a little bit more forward weight does give you a little bit better cornering ability, especially through mid-corner and exit. The car has almost no scrub due to its narrow chassis design. So that also allows you to go faster in and around corners because you're not actually scrubbing speed. So like when the car does dump in the corner, most cars, especially a lot of the wider cars, I don't want to say any in particular, but some of them are quite wide, and every time you scrub the chassis or a stone guard on the ground, you're losing speed. On this car, you can see you almost literally have only the very tip of the nose and the very back of the car where you actually have any actual chassis scrub. So again, less scrub means more speed on the track, and of course more control, because you're not actually having the chassis slap the ground and make you think that it's actually the suspension's fault. The car tracks and drives better than just about literally any and every car I've driven, especially for my style of driving. It again requires very little to no throttle to really clear the bigger jumps, especially Revelation. And you want me to continue to hold the chassis to the so they can see it more? Okay. Okay. Of course, anybody that knows me knows that I am somewhat of an aesthetics freak. I am very concerned about the way my car looks, not just its performance. So I do use a lot of the OFNA blue aluminum screws to make the car a lot prettier, and of course the blue fuel line to go along with it. A few of the other things that I've run over the years and continue to run, first thing is the pipe. The OFNA 2027 pipe has been an absolutely great pipe on just about every engine that I have ran, including the Novorossi P5s. Runs incredibly well on the JPX21s and on the Evo 2s. One trick though is to run the Novorossi double bend style manifold, though. That will make a big difference, increase the torque curve. And with the extra torque curve, you can use again less throttle for corner to corner acceleration. The fuel tank is designed for you to run the fuel line down in between the fuel tank and the pipe. I choose not to do that. I just don't like it being close to heat sources. So I do actually run my fuel line up and around the air filter and then right up into the cap. The same with the fuel line. I'll run it straight up around underneath the body mount to hold it into position, use the captured there, and then run it straight to the carburetor. This keeps everything away from all the driveline and moving parts, and helps eliminate vibration in the fuel line itself or the fuel line getting hot, which of course can deplete your runtime and change your power band a little bit as the car comes up to temperature. I've been asked by some people in the past about air filters and which air filters to recommend. On this car, the air filter boot has to be at a particular snake design to allow for the engine's tilt. With this in mind, the stock air filter fits the car the best and, in my opinion, will work the best. So I do recommend staying with the stock air filter system. The super low design of the car allows you to run the bar and, of course, the flat box, for the radio box. And there is one trick that I've noticed on the car that can make a very, very big importance. On my radio tray, the servos again sit so low in the car. There are some areas on the radio tray, or on the stone guard, excuse me, that you actually want to clip out to make sure that the servo isn't pressed up against it. I have seen a couple of guys build their car with that, and that's an important trick to make sure and not do. Again, I do run the 1500 milliamp LiPo battery in my car, again to take as much weight off of the back of the car as possible. And then I run the KO Propo spread spectrum radio system, which has a super, super tiny receiver. So of course, any excess weight that you can eliminate helps. Everything I run on my car that is an option part is all available through Nitro House, and Tim is pretty well versed on my car, so he should be able to help you out very well on any option parts and little setup things that I've got going on with my car. One of the other factors that I've done on this car, again thinking about weight, was the Hyper 8.5 has some titanium through bolts that go in through the gearbox, eliminating the steel ones. This is a very, very big weight reduction, so that's another key factor to remember. The blue screws, I've had some people ask me about strength and if it should be a concern. Well, to begin with, my rear wing is held on by 4 aluminum screws. I have crashed tons, and I have not broken or sheared one of those blue aluminum screws yet. I do use the titanium screws at the chassis mounts just for strength purposes, and I do use the titanium screws to hold the front shock tower on, but the rear shock tower is actually held on by aluminum screws. Again, anywhere that you can eliminate weight, that it doesn't affect the strength of the car, is something that you want to do. The one other thing I have found on the car that might be pretty beneficial for some of you guys to know is the pipe mount wire is very, very short. So with that in mind, OFNA has a coiled pipe mount. It's 10052 part number. Highly, highly recommended. It allows the pipe to flex a little bit without stressing or bending the actual pipe end. As you can see, this one is bent a little bit, and that's the reason why we went to the coiled pipe mount wire. So those are some of the things that I've done to my car to make it a little bit quicker and better. We want to thank everybody for their time, and we hope you have a great racing. And my name is Rob Bender. Have fun, burn nitro. Keep running those OFNA products. Thank you.